All right, everybody, welcome back to Redneck Ranting. It is about 5:30 in the evening, Monday, March the 25th, 2015, and we have got us a brand new rant. I was actually going to make this one about Minnesota State Senator Ilhan Omar, who has been making the news a lot lately for the various things that she's been saying about the Jewish community and other things that you probably shouldn't be running your mouth too vociferously about if you want to keep your cushy, phony, baloney, bullshit government job. Instead, on my way to work this morning, I discovered another video about Jim Jeffries. And yes, I'm keenly aware of the irony involved in me simultaneously wanting to bitch about a Muslim senator and bitch about a guy who is kind of getting his dick in the ringer for talking shit about Muslim people. Here's the thing. They're not mutually exclusive, okay? On the one hand, you've got a Hollywood hypocrite. On the other hand, you've got somebody who is espousing views that a person who was elected to serve the entire community probably shouldn't be saying. All right? So we're going to focus on Jim right now. Jim, what the fuck are you doing? Now, for those of you who didn't see the original Jim Jeffries rant that I did, here's the short version. Jim Jeffries is a stand-up comic who got his start doing, working the circuit as a shock and drug comic. Oh, god damn, really? Sorry, the autofocus on this thing. As I was saying, Jim got his start, just like as your usual run-of-the-mill comic, doing jokes about his drug use and various other things and all the crazy shit that he's been through. And he was a pretty solid workman-like comic, making a moderate living with that kind of material. Got a couple of specials. He was doing okay for himself. He discovered that there was more money in jumping on the leftist political bandwagon and heavily seasoning his material with their big talking points. And he parlayed that into a nightly show on Comedy Central, in which he would parrot the typical modern leftist line of Trump is Hitler, walls are immoral, and if you are not a big fan of Islam, you probably masturbate to pictures of Adolf Eichmann. And then he got busted on camera 4 days ago making jokes about how if a dingo were to eat a Muslim baby, the dingo would vomit. Okay? So that's a recap there. Now, this has understandably pissed off quite a few people, and a few of them got together and they did some digging around in his old material, because the internet is forever, ladies and gentlemen, never forget that. And they found a clip in which he talks rather grotesquely about Islam. He refers to them as fucking mental, makes several incredibly disgusting, disrespectful remarks about the Prophet Mohamed, which, in their own context, okay, fine, I personally would have found them funny. But when you take them in the context of, here's a guy who is now getting rich by saying anybody who would say something like this is an asshole, and actually did a segment on his show in which he tried to perform a hatchet job on a guy for being critical of Muslim immigration, it puts it into a whole new light. All right? Guys, I understand that very few people are the same kind of human being they were 8 years ago. Okay, this is back in 2011. This material was originally done. Now it's 2019. I wouldn't be making a thing of this if he hadn't gotten busted on camera less than a week ago talking about how stupid and demeaning the burqa is and making jokes about Muslim children getting murdered by wild dogs. Which, and again, I have to say this, I don't care for the Muslim faith, I don't care for the Islamic ideology. I would never make jokes about children getting murdered. I was livid at what the fucking New Zealand shooter did, because as little as I like the Islamic faith, you don't fucking murder babies, okay? You don't do it. And now here's this pompous, two-faced, hypocritical shit rag. On the one hand, calling people the most appalling names possible and waving a flag showing how woke and what an ally he is. And yet, when he thinks that he's the only one who's going to control what other people see in his behavior, he is saying things way worse than the very people that he is trying to burn are saying. Avi Yemeni actually called him out in that interview and said, dude, you don't joke about dead kids, okay? You don't do it, man. And Avi Yemeni is supposed to be the bad guy in that scenario, and the supposed nominal bad guy is saying, dude, that's a bridge too far. You don't cross that line. This goes to character. Character is what you do when you think nobody else is watching or when you think you're not going to get caught. Okay? If you're the kind of person who, when he knows he's going to be caught, will turn in a wallet with money, but when he thinks he can get away with it, will pocket the money and throw the wallet in the garbage can and deny any knowledge of the wallet, then who you really are is a fucking thief. Okay? If you are the kind of person who espouses family values and the importance of monogamy in a relationship in the public sphere, and that is your public face, and then behind closed doors you're cheating on your wife with everything with a pulse, who you are is a philandering pig and a liar. And if your public face is that of somebody who is an ally of a particular ideology, and you have made a pretty nice little fortune and a pretty nice little career for yourself insulting and belittling and othering people who are critical of that ideology, and it doesn't matter if it's the Muslims, the Buddhists, the Christians, if it's my people, the Wiccans, and the Jews, it doesn't matter. If you have made yourself a buttload of money and basically built your career on dragging people who are critical of a particular ideology in public, and then when you think nobody is going to catch you saying these things, you joke about their children being murdered and their holy men performing pornographic acts upon themselves with rolled up copies of their holy book, then who you are is an ideological bigot and a hypocrite, and you need to have the blinding light of the truth shone upon you. Now, I don't personally believe, I don't know if Jeffries should lose his career over this, okay? I don't like the idea of people losing their careers over wrongthink. I do think that what Comedy Central should do is treat him the way they would treat anyone else who was busted talking this way. All right? I would think that what Comedy Central should do is ask themselves, what would we do if we had a deal with somebody who had conservative politics and hidden camera footage surfaced of them making these kind of remarks? Whatever that is, whether it's public censorship, i.e., publicly saying, hey, you know what, we don't approve of this, this doesn't match our values. Not censoring, but censuring. Basically publicly calling him out for being a naughty boy. Or making him issue a public apology, or pulling his show. Whatever their response to a conservative-leaning member of their company would be, caught saying these things, that's what they should do. And Jim, pull your fucking head out of your ass. I realize that you're in Hollywood, therefore you're a scumbag, and that moral consistency is not really your strong suit. I don't know, maybe all the drugs you brag about doing burned out those synapses. But here's the thing, dude. Grow your ass up. You're in your 30s. You talk about being somebody's father now. Figure out what your true north is and live by it. Let your words and your actions mesh. Because right now, all you are doing is fanning the flames of assholes like me who are going, see? Scratch a leftist. Find a hypocrite. Ta-da! That's all for now. Like, share, subscribe. Hit the bell button. Validate my pathetic alcohol-fueled existence with your attention. Thank you very much to my subscribers. I will see you next time when, in perhaps a bit of irony, I will probably be getting a case of the rip shits over Islamic senator from my glorious Arctic home state of Minnesota, Miss Ilhan Omar. In the meantime, be safe, be well, be happy. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.